Some people do not enter your life to love you. They enter to test how much pain you are willing to tolerate. The scary part is that toxic relationships rarely begin with cruelty. They begin with charm, attention, and promises that feel almost too perfect. Then little by little, your confidence disappears, your peace fades, and one day you wake up wondering how you became someone you barely recognize today. We're uncovering the 5 biggest red flags that reveal a toxic relationship before it destroys your self-respect. Because once you see these signs, you will never look at people the same way again. Red flag 1, they make you question your own reality. At first it feels small. Maybe they tell you that you're remembering something wrong. Maybe they laugh and say you're overthinking again. Maybe they insist a conversation never happened, even though you remember every single word. You brush it off because nobody wants to believe someone they love would deliberately confuse them. But slowly, those tiny moments begin stacking on top of each other. Until you stop trusting your own mind, you start apologizing for things you never did, second-guessing your instincts, asking yourself if you're actually the problem. This is one of the most dangerous forms of manipulation because it doesn't attack your body. It attacks your confidence. Once someone controls what you believe about reality, they can control almost everything else. The ancient Stoics understood something many people still struggle to learn today. Your greatest power comes from your ability to judge reality clearly. Once that judgment becomes clouded by another person's constant manipulation, your freedom begins disappearing. Imagine working all day, coming home exhausted, and trying to explain why something they said hurt you. Instead of listening, they smile and say, "You're way too sensitive, I never said that." Now suddenly you're defending your memory instead of discussing your feelings. Notice what just happened. The conversation changed. The problem became you instead of their behavior. Toxic people are experts at shifting the spotlight away from accountability. Every disagreement somehow ends with you apologizing while they walk away feeling victorious. Over time, this creates emotional dependence. Because you stop believing your own instincts, you begin relying on theirs. That's exactly what they want. A person who doubts themselves becomes easier to control. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the mind becomes colored by its own thoughts. When someone constantly paints your mind with confusion, eventually everything begins looking distorted. Healthy love gives you clarity. Toxic love creates constant confusion. Healthy partners help solve problems together. Toxic partners make you question whether the problem even exists. Think about your closest friendships. The healthiest people in your life probably make you feel understood, respected, and emotionally safe. You don't leave conversations wondering if you're losing your mind. You leave feeling heard. That's the difference. Manipulation leaves exhaustion. Honesty creates peace. Never ignore that feeling in your gut that whispers something isn't right. Because your intuition notices patterns long before your logic catches up. Protecting your peace sometimes means believing your own eyes even when someone else desperately wants you to doubt them. The moment you constantly feel confused instead of understood, you're no longer building a relationship. You're surviving one. Red flag 2, they only love you when you obey them. Love should never feel like a reward you have to earn. Yet in toxic relationships, affection often comes with invisible conditions. Everything feels wonderful when you agree with them. When you sacrifice your own needs, when you stay quiet instead of speaking honestly. But the moment you set a boundary, everything changes. Suddenly they're cold, distant, irritated, or completely unavailable. Their kindness disappears as if someone flipped a switch. This isn't love. It's control disguised as affection. Many people stay because they keep chasing the version of the person they met in the beginning. They tell themselves, maybe things will go back to how they were. Maybe if I try harder, maybe if I become more patient, maybe if I stop complaining, but every compromise costs another piece of your identity. Eventually, you stop asking what makes you happy, because your entire life revolves around avoiding their disappointment. The Stoics believed that true freedom begins the moment you stop depending on external approval. That's exactly why conditional love feels like a prison. Your emotional state becomes controlled by another person's mood. One day they praise you. The next day, they punish you with silence without realizing it. You've become emotionally addicted to their validation. Imagine a bird living inside a beautiful golden cage. From the outside, everything looks perfect. People admire the cage, they compliment its beauty, but nobody notices the bird has forgotten how to fly. Toxic relationships often look healthy to outsiders because manipulation happens behind closed doors. Every apology comes with hidden expectations. Every gift has invisible strings attached. Every compliment becomes another way to keep you emotionally invested. Eventually, you begin fearing conflict more than losing yourself. And that's exactly when control reaches its highest level. Healthy love celebrates your independence. Toxic love fears it. Healthy partners encourage your growth. Toxic partners secretly resent it because every step toward confidence is one step away from their influence. Ask yourself one honest question. Can you disagree with this person without feeling afraid of losing their affection? If the answer is no, then love has already been replaced by control. And no relationship built on fear can ever become a place of peace. Real love stays even when you respectfully disagree, because respect does not disappear the moment obedience ends. Red flag 3, they drain your energy but blame you for feeling exhausted. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely drained? Even though nothing dramatic seemed to happen, you replay every word in your head, wondering if you could have explained yourself better, if you should have stayed quiet, if somehow you caused the tension. This is one of the clearest signs you're dealing with emotional toxicity. Because healthy relationships leave you feeling lighter after conflict, not emotionally bankrupt. Toxic people have a way of turning every interaction into an invisible battle. They don't always yell. They don't always insult you directly. Sometimes they simply demand constant emotional attention. Every problem becomes your responsibility. Every bad mood becomes something you're expected to fix. Every disappointment somehow circles back to being your fault over time. You become their emotional caretaker while ignoring your own needs, and the worst part is, you don't even notice it happening until you're completely exhausted. This is how emotional burnout begins, not through one catastrophic moment, but through hundreds of tiny moments where your peace is sacrificed to keep someone else comfortable. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones. On the first day, the weight feels manageable. Then someone quietly adds another stone, then another. Then another. Eventually you're struggling to stand. Yet you become so used to the weight that you forget life wasn't supposed to feel this heavy. That's exactly how toxic relationships steal your energy, little by little, until exhaustion becomes your normal. The Stoics believed your energy was one of your most valuable possessions, because every decision, every act of courage, every moment of wisdom depends on the strength of your mind. If someone constantly leaves you mentally drained, they're taking away the very resource you need to build a meaningful life. Think about the people who genuinely care about you after spending time with them. You often feel calmer, stronger, more motivated. Even difficult conversations end with mutual understanding instead of emotional confusion. Now compare that to someone who leaves you feeling anxious every single time your phone lights up with their name. Your body begins preparing for conflict before the conversation even starts. Your heart races, your shoulders tighten. Your mind immediately wonders what went wrong this time. Your nervous system is telling you something your heart may still be trying to deny. People often mistake this emotional roller coaster for passion. They say the relationship is intense, exciting, impossible to leave. But intensity is not the same thing as love. Chaos is not chemistry, anxiety is not affection, and constant emotional survival is not commitment. A truly loving relationship should become a safe place where both people recover from the stress of life, not another source of it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that peace comes from within. Yet protecting that inner peace sometimes means walking away from those who repeatedly disturb it. Because you cannot build a calm mind while living inside someone else's endless emotional storm. The strongest people are not the ones who can tolerate unlimited pain. They're the ones wise enough to recognize when protecting their peace is an act of courage. If every conversation leaves you emotionally depleted, if every disagreement steals another piece of your confidence, if every day feels like you're carrying someone else's emotional weight, then ask yourself one simple question. Is this relationship giving life to your soul or quietly taking it away? Because no amount of love should require you to sacrifice your own emotional well-being just to keep another person comfortable. Red flag 4. They isolate you from the people who truly care about you. One of the most dangerous things about toxic relationships is that they rarely begin by telling you who you can't see. Instead, they slowly convince you that everyone else is the problem. At first, they might say your best friend doesn't respect your relationship. They question your family's intentions. They hint that your co-workers are jealous of what the two of you have. It sounds protective, even romantic, but over time, something changes. You stop answering calls, you cancel plans. You drift away from the people who once knew you best, and without realizing it, your entire world becomes centered around one person. This isn't coincidence, it's control. Because isolation makes manipulation much easier. When nobody else is close enough to offer perspective, the toxic person becomes the only voice you hear, the only opinion that matters, the only version of reality you begin to trust. This is why controlling individuals often fear the people who genuinely love you. Because healthy relationships expose unhealthy ones. Your true friends notice the changes in your behavior long before you do. They see the sadness behind your smile, the hesitation in your voice, the confidence that slowly disappeared. But when you're isolated, those voices of wisdom become quieter until eventually they disappear altogether. Imagine standing inside a house with every window covered. After enough time, darkness starts feeling normal. You forget how bright the sunlight actually is. Then one day someone opens a single curtain, and suddenly you realize the room was never supposed to be this dark. That's exactly what reconnecting with healthy people feels like after escaping toxicity. You begin remembering who you were before someone convinced you that you weren't enough. The Stoics valued strong friendships because they understood that wisdom grows through honest relationships. Real friends don't encourage your weakness. They strengthen your character. They challenge you with respect. They celebrate your growth. And they remind you of your value when life tries to make you forget it. Toxic people do the opposite. They quietly separate you from anyone who could help you see the truth, because isolation protects manipulation. If every disagreement ends with them telling you to cut someone out of your life, if every important relationship somehow becomes a threat in their eyes, pay attention. Healthy love expands your world. Toxic love shrinks it. Healthy partners are proud to see you surrounded by supportive people. Toxic partners secretly compete with anyone who reminds you that you deserve better. Ask yourself this: since entering this relationship, have your connections become stronger, or have they slowly disappeared? Because love should never require you to abandon the people who genuinely want the best for you. Your world should become richer through love, not smaller. And the moment one person becomes your entire universe, you've handed them a level of power no human being should ever possess. Remember, the people who truly love you never fear your freedom. They celebrate it. Because real love wants you connected, supported, and surrounded by those who help you become the strongest version of yourself. Red flag 5. They make you feel like you'll never be enough. This may be the most painful red flag of them all, because it doesn't always come through loud arguments or obvious insults. Sometimes it arrives through tiny comments that seem harmless at first. They compare you to someone else. They joke about your appearance. They dismiss your achievements. They point out your flaws more often than your strengths. Every remark feels small on its own, but together they slowly reshape the way you see yourself. Before long, you begin believing that no matter how hard you try, you'll never measure up. You start working harder, giving more, apologizing more, sacrificing more, hoping that one day they'll finally tell you that you're enough. But that day never comes, because the goal was never to help you grow. The goal was to keep you chasing approval that always stays just out of reach. This is one of the oldest forms of control. A person who feels confident can walk away. A person who constantly doubts themselves stays, not because they're weak, but because they've been taught to believe nobody else would ever love them. Think about how powerful that lie is. If someone can convince you that your value depends entirely on their opinion, they've placed themselves at the center of your identity, and that's a dangerous place for anyone to stand. The Stoics taught that your worth does not come from another person's praise or criticism. It comes from your character, your choices, and the integrity with which you live your life. No one can take those things from you unless you hand them over. Imagine a magnificent marble statue standing in the middle of a violent storm. The rain falls, the wind howls, lightning strikes nearby, yet the statue remains exactly what it has always been. The storm never changes the marble. It only reveals its strength. Your value works the same way. Criticism from toxic people cannot define you unless you allow it to become your own inner voice. Healthy partners inspire confidence. They celebrate your victories without jealousy. They encourage your dreams without fear. They correct you with kindness instead of humiliation. They make you feel safe enough to grow. Toxic partners do the opposite. They create insecurity, then position themselves as the only cure for the insecurity they created. That's why breaking free feels so difficult. You're trying to escape the same person you've been taught to depend on for validation. But here's the truth that changes everything. You do not need permission to recognize your own worth. You do not need someone's approval to become the person you were created to be. And you certainly do not need to spend your life proving your value to someone determined not to see it. One day, you'll look back and realize the greatest act of self-respect wasn't changing yourself to be loved. It was finally walking away from the people who only knew how to love the version of you that stayed silent, because real love never asks you to shrink. It gives you the courage to become everything you were meant to be. And once you truly understand that, you'll stop begging for a place in someone's life and start protecting the peace that has always belonged to you. If today's message spoke to something deep inside you, don't ignore that feeling. Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is also the one that sets you free. Remember, love should never leave you feeling afraid to speak, afraid to grow, or afraid to be yourself. The right people won't ask you to lose your identity just to keep them comfortable. They'll stand beside you as you become stronger, wiser, and more at peace. Protect your mind, guard your self-respect, and never trade your inner peace for temporary approval. Because the strongest relationship you'll ever build is the one you have with yourself. If this video helped you see your own life more clearly, let us know in the comments which red flag stood out the most. Your story could help someone else find the courage they need today. And if you're ready to keep building an unshakable mind through timeless Stoic wisdom, subscribe to Stoic Spark, turn on the bell icon so you never miss a new video. And until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and let wisdom, not emotion, guide your path.